What's up guys, this is Miasin and welcome to the OCG metagame breakdown number 4. This one is super small, probably one of the smallest I've seen in a while, because it's only 105 top performing decks because Alliance Insight just dropped. And yeah, that set is gonna change everything, so I cannot wait to have more insight on the next format that we're gonna have. And by I cannot wait, I mean I cannot wait to commit Toaster Bath, because I'm not looking forward to that set. It's really disgusting. But yeah, anyways, before we go any further, you already know the drill. Smash the like and subscribe button, and most importantly, check out my CRYSTRON spreadsheet. It is absolutely worth looking into, and the deck is completely broken. Just in case you've never heard about it, here is the promo. So just in case you didn't know much before, the spreadsheet has absolutely all the info you need if you are planning on building the CRYSTRON deck, which is the best deck that is coming out of Supreme Darkness. My spreadsheet features visual support, which includes images and videos, while being easy to understand, regardless of whether or not you had prior experience with the deck. It comes with 50 combos that show the most optimal lines when you are interrupted, but also through hand traps such as Ash, Imperm, every Molchemy monster, Dimension Shifter, as well as Artifact Lancia. Best part is, every combo comes with their own notes so that you can understand what's going on. This spreadsheet also comes with a YCS ready decklist containing my in-depth reasoning on every card and ratio so that you don't get confused and know exactly what to buy. And if you ever encountered issues with sighting patterns, I got you, because I also cover going first and going second sighting patterns against 15 decks of the metagame. This spreadsheet also covers some alternative techs and engines that could be worth exploring the deck, as well as their pros and cons. Having access to the spreadsheet also grants you access to an ever-growing Discord community of like-minded CRYSTRON players, and also access to me, where I can answer specific questions and share updates with you. Speaking of updates, I'm even willing to add additional sections and combos to the spreadsheet if I'm asked to, and you won't have to pay again to benefit off of these updates. I'll be fully honest with you, if you're interested in CRYSTRON, this spreadsheet will not only save you hundreds of hours of theory and practice, but also a lot of money. You won't have to make unnecessary purchases since you'll already have access to an optimal deck list, and you're not gonna have to spend your days and nights coming up with combos. Also, every time you forget about a combo, you can just go back to the spreadsheet and check it out to refresh your memory. If you're interested in the spreadsheet, all you have to do is PayPal me $20 US, and make sure to state your Gmail account in the transfer so that I know who to share the spreadsheet with. If you forgot to state your Gmail in the transfer, don't worry, just email me a proof of payment with your Gmail, and I'll share the spreadsheet with you as soon as I can. Unless I'm sleeping, I should never take too long to grant you access to the spreadsheet, so don't worry about the delay. The specs of the spreadsheet alongside all the steps to buy it are at the top of the description, so please check it out as soon as you can. Anyways, with that said, let's get on with the video. Alright, absolutely beautiful, but anyways, let's get right into it. By the way, everything that did not allow Alliance Insight is excluded from this breakdown, so just keep in mind that this is, you know, pure perfect data. Not really, because it's not big enough, but still something that is worth evaluating, like I said. Malice, #1 best deck, kind of makes sense. It is shocking to see Malice finally be the first, well, I mean, the #1 deck in the OCG. Usually it's always like the second, the third best deck, you know. It's always up there, but this time it really is dominating. And the reason why Malice is the best deck right now is because the new support from from Alliance Insight, the Ignister cards, are really broken. They actually fixed pretty much every single issue that Malice used to have, and even the new Malice cards are cracked, like even better than the new Ryzeal card, because now there is the hair that allows you to beat Nibiru very easily, and the Quick Play spell is also very good when you're not drawing it, because it's actually a pretty bad card to draw usually. But yeah, it's really scary support. And the deck can actually play through Lancia now, which is also very concerning, and play through Nibiru with one card. This shouldn't exist, and also the deck is more consistent because you don't even have to play bad cards like Dotscaper anymore, so your deck is just overall infinitely better than it was before. Huge upgrade for Malice, unfortunately, and also it's the deck that got nerfed the least out of, you know, Malice and Ryzeal from the last ban list, because Allure of Darkness to 1, nobody gives two shits, whereas X Ryzeal to 1, people do care. Anyways, the second best deck is Ryzeal, and it's not even like you can say that Malice is destroying Ryzeal, so obviously this is nowhere close to like a tier 0 format yet. But with that being said, I could see Malice becoming like a deck that will dominate like 40% of the metagame, and this would definitely be really scary, honestly, because I really don't want Malice to dominate the metagame. This deck is very unhealthy to play against because it really does feel like an FTK deck. It's like unhandtrappable, unboard breakerable, and it's not a really skilled mirror match at all, because it's all dictated by, like, you know, what are the non-engine cards that you draw, because the engine itself is absolute dog shit at breaking boards going second. So if you lose the dice roll and your opponent full combos, you lose. And if you win the dice roll and you go first and you get hit by Furos or Nialis or Lancia or Chaos Hunter and stuff like that, you also lose, and that is absolutely terrible to be, you know, in that situation. But yeah, Ryzeal, the new support, really good, because now even when the duo drive doesn't resolve, you got the new Star Ryzeal monster that can set the Ryzeal cross from your deck to your field. Well, actually, it's any Ryzeal spell or trap, but the other ones, they're not as great as the field spell. So it's usually going to be the field spell just to make sure that there is really no way that you can lose to hand traps. So in other words, hand traps are useless, which is very good for Malice, very good for any deck that might lose to hand traps. Like White Forest, for example, is a deck that does lose to hand traps, and it benefits off of people who are playing the useless cards against it. So, you know, Artifact Lancia, useless against White Forest. Molchemy, Nialis, you don't care, etc. But anyways, Orcust, number 3 best deck. I don't really care about that deck too much. And I actually think that it's a very disappointing and just overall very weak build that people are playing in the OCG. I would personally play Orcust Fiendsmith myself just because I think there's more gas to it. But people are playing pure Orcust with like barely any starters. It's actual dog shit. I think it's a very bad deck, and I don't understand why it's up here, but when you don't brick with Orcust, you are playing the best deck in the room just because the deck doesn't lose to hand traps at all. You're actually, your opponent gets punished for drawing hand traps just because they do nothing against Orcust. So that's super frustrating to be, again, playing against this deck. Blue Eyes, okay, another deck that doesn't lose to hand traps. White Forest, this deck loses to hand traps, but the end boards are completely unbreakable. And then there's a tie between 3 decks that I think are both all extremely good in the OCG. So CRYSTRON, Gem Knight, and Memento. Memento is a deck that also exists over here, and it's a fantastic deck. I already topped a bunch of YCSs. Gem Knight is never going to exist in the TCG because they have Block Dragon and Real Infusion, and we have none of those cards, so we would have to like unban them first. And finally, CRYSTRON is a very flexible deck that is super grindy, super technical, super just overall good at catching your opponents off guard, and if you know exactly how to build and play CRYSTRON, you will get heavily rewarded. I keep saying that, but that's because I really truly believe in it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have worked on the spreadsheet that I, of course, am selling right now. And I really do recommend looking into it. Yeah, anyways, Lawnmowing Despia, Tenpai Dragon, Atlantean. Evil Twin, this is the biggest disappointment of this breakdown, just because the new support is completely cracked, and I was expecting the deck to be doing so much better. So only seeing 2 out of 105 is absolutely pathetic, because, you know, there's Ancient Gear right after. Like, come on, the new Evil Twin support, it should be much better than that. But anyways, Ancient Gear, I don't know how the heck that got here. Argus Stars, the new support is great. Azimina Punk, the new Punk cards are fantastic. Dogmatica Regenesis, this engine is kind of like similar to like Kashtira 2.0 in a way, kind of, not really. And then Fiendsmith Azamina Chimera, very good deck. Fiendsmith White Forest Azamina Snake Eye, so that's the exact same thing as this, but with Snake Eye cards. So you're really just making your deck worse for no good reason. Fiendsmith Unchained, whatever this is, Labyrinth, Mathmechanic Nistor. Don't try to play Adignistor as an actual deck, because the new sorry, I almost died. The new support is actually better in Malice than it is in its own deck. It's really sad. Well, not really. It's just that the Adignistor deck has always been able to make like completely unbreakable boards off of one card, so why would you play a deck where the issues of the deck are the exact same? Like, you still lose to Nibiru, you still lose to Droll, you still lose to everything, and the deck also, the ceiling level going second, not the highest. It's really just like, you have a lot of one-card combos that make huge boards, but that's about it. It's not a really interesting deck. I don't like the deck at all. Maybe the Mathmech engine makes it better, I don't know. Anyways, Necral's Majestus, Tribrigade Lyrilusk, Valiance, Voice's Voice. And yeah, that's really it. Again, very small breakdown. Anyways, Malice is the #1 deck right now. So obviously there's a lot to cover, and most importantly, they have 2 new Malice cards, as well as 3 Adignistor cards from the new set that they were playing in Malice. So the new Malice monsters, well, I mean, the new Malice cards, there's one monster, the March Hare, and also the Quickly spell card, the Malice in the Mirror, and both of them are good. So March Hare is this monster right here. Basically, when it gets banished, you can recycle back any of your banished Malice cards from your banished to your hand, including itself, which is very stupid. And also in the hand, it's kind of like a bestial. You can summon it by banishing a Malice card, I believe, from your graveyard. So that's really broken. And also, it's a quick effect during the main phase, which is interesting. You don't see this every day. Apart from that, nah, it's yeah, it's kind of like the same deck that you remember, but it doesn't play Dotscaper, and then there's 4 Adignistor monsters in it. So 1 Wizard Adignistor, which is a double extender. So if you control a monster special summon from the extra deck, you can target I think a Dark Cyrus in your grave, and then you summon both. So you summon that from the hand and the monster that you target in the graveyard from the graveyard. So it's a really good card, but it doesn't do anything on its own. Whereas the the backup Adignistor, this card is somewhat of a starter, because on normal or special summon, you can search a Dark Cyrus from your deck to hand, and then you gotta discard 1 card. And also, if you control a monster special summon from the extra deck, you can special summon this card from your hand. So it's an extender and a starter in a way, and it can actually be a 1-card combo if you play the right extra deck, like with Terahertz and stuff like that. but nobody's really doing that. Obviously, like, you might as well just play, like, you might as well make a half board with this card. I don't really think you have to do, like, weird things. But yeah, basically now, instead of going, you know, search the field spell off of the red ransom to banish, you know, the red ransom, or, hold on a second, no, actually, it was to banish, yeah, no, actually, it was to banish white binder, no? I forgot, but whatever. Instead of doing that, you're banishing the Malice in the mirror, so that now you can banish the red ransom, and then you also search a Malice monster from your deck to your hand in the process, so you can search a hair, and that can also be your extender, even on your opponent's turn. So the deck just got even more resilient to board breakers, which, like I said, is extremely concerning. And also, when you already have the field spell, you can search a quick play, and that can be an interruption on the opponent's turn. This new support has fixed redundancy issues, and it also fixed problems at beating, you know, Nibiru and Lancia. So the deck doesn't really insta-scoop to anything anymore. Maybe, like, it still has a really tough time against the Molchamis and Maxi, but that's all I can really think of, and I guess you got Ash to stop them. But yeah, this is a 41 card deck with 16 hand traps, as well as 2 Combat the Grave and a Crossout, so that's 19 non-engine in total. And like I said, everything else in the deck, except for like a couple of cards, do a lot on their own. So it is a terrifying deck for sure. And also it sides an extra 11 cards, which is insane. It's ridiculous. Freaking 16 hand traps and 11 more hand traps in the side deck. I don't know what Yu-Gi-Oh is turning into, but Malice is definitely not it. It really should get demolished once and for all. Allure of Darkness going to 1 is the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen, because nobody's even playing the card anyways. But yeah, Ryzeal is also a deck that got much better again. It is being represented at 19% in the top 105 performing decks. But yeah, the new support is Star Ryzeal, which is really just a one-of. What this card does is that even when your duo drive doesn't resolve, you really don't care, because you can still set your field spell, and then you can beat the hand traps anyway. So even if your opponent has like Nibiru Imperm, it's not gonna beat you. And also, I'm pretty sure I know who Kodai is. So yeah, shoutouts to him. I think I might see him at YCS Sydney this year. But yeah, this is a really cool deck list. He's playing Aratama as well as Sakitama, the Spirit Monster package, because, you know, Ryzeal did lose a little bit of consistency. So this is kind of something that you gotta do to some extent. And yeah, a lot of hand traps as well. Purely on the main deck, not something that you see every day. So yeah, 6, 9, 11, 12, 15 hand traps. And then we're also seeing the 2 Combat the Grave and the Crossout, as well as the Talent. So yeah, 19 non-engine, and a lot of one-card starters. 4, 7, 9, and then 12... 14, 15. Okay, 15, but then there's always other ways of, you know, getting your stuff going, such as Sakitama and a Molchami, for example. One interesting but completely irrelevant fact is that with Metaltronius, if you play number 104 Masquerade in your extra deck, you can negate an artifact scythe because it is a light fairy monster. So yeah, it absolutely doesn't change anything to your life, and it really shouldn't, but yeah, Artifact Scythe is a thing in the OCG, so I guess it might be relevant. In the TCG, it's not something that we have to care about. But Metaltronius is still broken nonetheless, even though Malice is not going for the board breaker approach, but rather a hand trap approach. And again, if this deck goes second in Game 1, it's still not a good deck. Like, all the new support really just makes it better for going first, I want to say. But for going second, Malice is still the exact same shitty going second Malice deck it's ever been, and that is not something that I appreciate. Yeah, in conclusion, Alliance Insight is obviously a completely cracked set. I mean, we can see for ourselves how broken Malice is compared to like everything else now. And I think it's just a matter of time before Malice is going to be even better, maybe like 40% representation. That could make sense. I could absolutely see that becoming a thing very soon, actually. Maybe in a couple of weeks, we will see like Malice at 30+%. Because honestly, from Alliance Insight, I don't really think any other deck got spoiled as much as this deck. So once people really understand how to capitalize off of the new support, this deck will be the nuts, even though it already is. But yeah, you guys let me know how you feel about the OCG format in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.